Alright, hi guys, welcome back to another watch building video. Today I have a very special watch to be built for you guys. So today, instead of using a Japanese movement, I'm using a Chinese movement instead. This movement is a Seagull ST3600 movement. It's a manual wind movement and it looks really good. So some fun fact about this movement is actually designed for pocket watch. So you can see it's actually a lot bigger than the usual NH or Japanese movement. And it's initially designed by the company called ETA, a Swiss company. And then their patent actually expired and a Chinese company called Seagull actually took the entire design and bluntly copied it and produced this movement, ST3600. So the dimension, the design, the parts that it uses actually mimics the initial ETA movement. So now, given it's manufactured by a Chinese company, it reduces the cost by a lot and it's a very affordable and very attainable movement. And what's more interesting is we have parts that we can source online, which we can build our own custom watch using this Seagull movement. So what I have here to pair up with the ST3600 movement is a white military field style dial, which I think looks really beautiful. A beautiful 42mm diameter case with a huge open caseback to show off this beautiful movement. And obviously with a field style watch hand and some of the gears that come along with the movement, and a very pretty black leather strap to pair along to complete this watch. And I'm really looking forward to how this watch will turn out. Right now, I'm going to show a quick montage and close-up of the finished watch so you guys know what to expect from this video. Enjoy! Now you all have seen the final watch. Let's start building the watch together. Alright, this is the movement. So before installing the dial, the movement actually comes with a gear that the hour hand will sit on, and also come with the dial washer that we need to install, and few of the screws that we need to install when we put the movement into the case. So I'll show you later. Let's start by putting the gear in first. So make sure the gear actually engages with the small gear over here, just like this. And this is where the hour hand and minute hand will sit at. And then next is to actually install the dial washer. So the correct dial washer orientation should be a U shape when you place it down, just like this. Now the gear are in and the dial washer are in, we are left with some screws and holder. We just put this aside first because we'll be using this after we install the movement in the case. So what's next is to install this beautiful and amazing dial on top of the movement. So again, there's dial fit at the back, and I believe it fits directly into the hole. There's no dial fit cutting required. So let's try it. Alright, as you can see, the dial actually fits perfectly into the movement, which is what we need. So as you can see, the dial is actually very loose. So what we actually need to do is to actually tighten the screw at the back so that the dial actually sits tightly on the movement. So notice there's actually two screws here, one over here, one over here. This is a screw that needed to be tightened for the dial to sit on top of the movement. So let's give it a try. Now the dial should sit tightly on top of the movement. Right, so the dial feet are now sitting properly on top of the movement. What's next is to actually install the second hand. Because this is actually a manual wind movement and it has no hacking mechanism, so it's important for you to release the tension on the mainspring first so that the second hand is not moving for you to install the second hand. My movement now is not wind, so the second hand is not moving, as you can see from the mainspring. Just for the sake of this video, I'll wind the movement and release the tension to show you all how I do it. So now it's wind, and as you can see, the mainspring is moving. So it means there's tension in it, and the second hand is actually moving. So I'll now show you how I actually release the tension. So first, I'll place this movement and lock it using this movement holder. so it's a lot more stabilized and easier to walk around with. Okay, so the movement are now locked in place. So what we're going to do is to actually release the tension. So the tension is being held by this mechanism here. So what I usually do is I'll wind the movement just a bit, and then use a sharp tool, the one I usually use to release the stem. Use this tool to actually turn this metal around until it actually loosens the gear, and slowly release my left hand. Slowly, as you can see, it's starting to unwind and releasing all the tension. Release it slowly. Now my left hand are completely loose and the gear are not moving, meaning all the tension are being released now. So what you can do next is just release your right hand and everything should fall back into places. As you can see, the mainspring are now stop turning. That's when you know you actually release all the tension and the second should not be moving now. So now the second hand is not moving. It's time to actually install the second hand. Let me show you from another angle. Okay, now let's start install the second hand. Right, so the second hand is in. So let's test it out, I suppose. Wind a few turn. Hopefully the second hand will move. Alright, and it's moving. Alright, it's perfect. Alright, so next is actually the hour hand. Gently push it down, slowly. Obviously this method is not ideal, but given I have limited tools, this seems like the best way to go about it. So please excuse me, and hopefully I get this done. Make sure the hour hand is not touching the second hand, and it's perfect. So far it's looking really good. I'm liking it a lot. Now onto the minute hand. Let's give it a try. Should be relatively straightforward, and I can actually use my hand pusher in this case to try to push everything down evenly. I like turning the movement around while I'm pushing it, so I can make sure all push are evenly spread out. Slow and steady wins the race. Right, I think the hand are actually looking really good now. Okay, so what's next is actually to put this movement into the case. So I have the case here with me, and what I need to do now is to actually remove this stem. And the way how I remove the stem is actually to unscrew a small screw over here. Let me show you. To unscrew the screw over here to release the stem. Here we go. The stem is out. Now I'm just going to place the movement on this workbench, release it, and open the case. Remove the crown for now. Remember to do a quick puff, remove any dust before putting the movement into the case. Just like this. And it should fit just right into it, like this. Flip the case around, and look at that. Such a pretty watch, pretty movement. And imagine with this huge open case back, it would look absolutely amazing. I'm really looking forward to the finished product. So what I'll do now is to actually unscrew this crown, because we want to replace it with the crown that we have here. So as per usual, just twist it and release it, just like this, and screw the crown that we want for this case. It should be done relatively easy. Okay, here we go. So now I'll be putting the stem back into the movement. Okay, I can wind it now. So I'll tighten the screw for now. Okay. Let's close the case for now and check if everything is aligned and looks good from the front. Yep, I can change the time. Everything looks good. Again, obviously, the entire movement is still moving because we still haven't put the screw down. So if we put it down later, it will be very tight. Okay, so what I'll do next is use a caliper to measure the length I need to cut out in order to fit this crown to the movement with this stem. Let's start by opening the case and remove the stem once again. Okay, now I'm very happy with the length. I'm just going to lock it down using the thread locker. Lock it down tight. Remove any excess. And you should be good to go. Okay, now the stem is in. I'm just going to lock down the crown now by screwing this small screw. Tighten it. Now what's next is to actually tighten the movement inside the case by using the screws and nuts that provided from the movement. Yeah. So this is actually very small and delicate, so it's going to take some time to do it. So let me show you how. So there's actually two slots to screw down the screws, which is one over here and one over here. Okay, one side done, now move on to another side. Right now I got both screws in. I'll just tighten the screws evenly. Then the movement should be locked to the case. Right, looks good. Do a few puff and we can close the case. Just like this. Now look at the watch from the front. Now this is amazing. Now let's install this beautiful leather strap together and the watch is done. And the watch is completed. Look at the watch. Looks amazing. Alright guys, that's all for this watch building video. Hope you guys like it.
I hope you all enjoy watching it as much as I enjoy building the watch and making this video. So feel free to like the video and let me know what you think about it down in the comment section below. And definitely follow if you want to see more watch building video, because I do have a lot of exciting build coming up real soon. So stay tuned. Thanks.